Rappaport, and at the International Children's Art Gallery, and the founder of it had meant it as a place for children of all ages. And just last week, a young woman artist stopped by who had shown here when she was in high school, and then has had several shows in the last few years. And she expressed to me how upset she was about the plight of the Syrian people, as we all know, and that she wanted to do some kind of art about it. And I said to her, only you know what you want to do, but whatever you do, don't look for acknowledgement by the census. You have to do what you want to do. And by all means, don't use the attitude of sarcasm that has prevailed for so many decades now to emptying everything of meaning because it's just a show of pretending sophistication. And I said to her, whatever you do, let it come out of your heart. And with that advice, I'd like to say two quotes from two distinguished people that expresses my advice to her and what I've tried to do for more than half a century of painting, and longer than that, working towards becoming an artist since I was very young. The first is from Friedrich Nietzsche, and it goes, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often and sometimes frightened, but no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. And when I came of age, what I did with figurative work was disallowed. It was ostracized. It was forbidden. So I had to learn from almost the very beginning to keep my distance. second quote is from the great poet Czeslaw Milosz, and it goes, and he had written it and entered it into his diary after touring the Musée d'Orsay in Paris. And it goes, painting condenses and fixes this human time of racing decades that is otherwise evasive, untouchable. And this sort of illustrates a painting I did 50 years ago that marks a major historical event of that past period during the Vietnam War. Ship of Fools, which is the title of the painting, I painted in a very steamy New York City in just 2 days over a weekend. That almost burst the city's seams, because upon the announcement that the United States had crossed strategically the demilitarized zone separating the North from the South in Vietnam, to bomb the oil depots of Hanoi, escalating the war and extending it, unfortunately, and at the same time triggering in the Afro-American community the already growing anger that their young sons were being drafted disproportionately to the rest of the young men in this country who were able to go to college and so obtain school deferment. And it took the very charismatically personable Mayor John Lindsay to walk Harlem to express his solidarity with the Afro-American community over this issue that saved the city from what could have been terrible riots. I had just graduated from Carnegie Tech, which has since been renamed Carnegie Mellon University, from the art department, and a friend of my brother's in the theater department was moving to New York, obtained a loft in the Upper West Side, but wasn't going to be in New York for the summer, and so gave me the use of it. It was a pretty empty place, just a mattress, a few pots and pans, one chair, tiny table, but what it had was a cardboard box of miscellany stuff of his, and on top was a book on Japanese scroll painting. And the most interesting image I found there was one of the frantic crew in a floundering boat in the Mongol armada that was scuttled by a typhoon that in their attempted invasion of Japan. What a parallel to that, the contemporary moment in the United States and in Vietnam. And so I took that and painted it on the floor in the manner that I had seen in a photograph that Chagall had done of his murals for Lincoln Center that was just being installed but not yet unveiled. So that was one of the most important works that I ever did. And then, 35 years later, following 9/11, and with the advent of the Patriots Act and the American buildup that preceded the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, I placed on an ad page in the December issue of 2001 an image of me standing by Ship of Fools soon after I painted it as that very young man of 21, with a caption that briefly mentioned its history, ending in, it was a time when dossiers were made on anyone who openly expressed concerns about our foreign policy. That was my rebuttal to the Patriots Act, saying you're either with us totally or against us, and if you're against us, we can take your full citizenship away. Well, it was one of my proudest moments that I had the courage to do it, because everybody in this country was frightened as much by the Patriots Act as by the terrorism. And so far, it has not been acknowledged by the art world. Say that the